Okay, so we are back looking at the Descent of Dragons cards. And so if you ever find this is the kind of YouTube channel that people are years later embarrassed to have. Um, with like the most popular video right now has 29 views, and it's my first review of Descent of Dragon cards. So I'm like, do what the people like. So here we're doing it again. So we got roughly halfway through the cards last time because they were all the ones which were out. Now all of them are out, so let's just go through and have a look at kind of what's left. I haven't found someone which does them in order, so if I have already talked about a card and do it again, life's tough. Deal with it, man. So this I haven't seen before. This I kind of love already. I like cards like this. Just, is it ever going to be good? You get it down on turn 7 at earliest, or kind of, 5 or 6. And you just play a bunch of tree ants. I guess I need to know, what's the tree ant side quest? Nope, completely boring. There's nothing that summons too many tree ants in these cards. So, yeah, this shouldn't be good, but I kind of love these things that just give a nice, simple, you can hit for more. Secure the deck. This seems really pretty doable. In fact, you can kind of do it whenever you want. You can add the free claw spells to your hand. And in a way, there's no real need to play this until you see the need for it. I think this seems pretty good. Let me remind myself what claw does exactly. Claw, +2 attack and plus armor this turn. Yeah, and it's only attacked twice, so you can play this on turn 1. These don't automatically start in your hand, so that kind of changes the balance of this. But you can kind of play this anytime and it's going to be fine. Give all minions in your deck, they cost 1 more. Love it. Probably rarely going to be good, but could be. Taunt, discover a dragon. Really solid, boring. Aeroponics. Draw 2 cards, cost 2 less for each tree ant you control. I mean, even drawing 2 cards for 5 at times, there'll be times where you're on 10 mana and this is the thing that you draw first from your deck and you're like, well, that's a good draw. So yeah, that could be cool. I'm not that convinced of the power of tree ants. I think there's some things in the last set that, or the Wildwood, there's certainly things that made them strong. Kind of love the name. Give a minion +2 health, taunt, or summon a creature tree ant. Well, yeah, it's fine. I think cheap spells like this that don't do very much, they often won't get played because they don't do very much. Is there any card that this is particularly good on? Like, I always like putting a taunt on a lifesteal. That's a sort of arena level play. Draw a card. If you're holding a dragon, again, an empty mana crystal. Great. Fantastic. Honestly, 2 mana draw a card is fine. 2 mana draw a card. I know it takes a card, so it's not actually better than the Warlock Hero Power, but it's, in the moment, it's kind of the same. No, because you wouldn't. If you've drawn this card, you would have drawn a different card instead. Ignore that entirely. The Warlock Hero Power is pretty good. Spend 10 mana on minions, summon a random minion from your deck. Now, if you have 2 10 mana minions in your deck, you get that second one for free. Or like a few 5 mana. So maybe this is the kind of thing that could be in some crazy combo. Love me a crazy combo. Had already seen this, but I kind of love it. It's not that, well, it could be quite strong. Theranos, change the health of all enemy minions to 1. That's fantastic. Like, you play it with nothing, and it's fine. Play it on, like, your opponent has a stacked board, and it's great. Seen this one already. I like it. Like, you're just pushing a lot of damage very early on and not having to use up your hand. And I quite like... Although, again, this doesn't start in your hand. I have to keep on reminding myself of that. Doesn't lose durability while you control a dragon. Yeah, that seems pretty good. 3-2 for 3 is pretty fine, but if it sticks around, great. This is the one that I really hope is inspired by Adventure Time. By, what's his name? The cat. Summon 3 rush minions, get an extra rush minion. I think side quests are really hard to judge how good they're going to be. I know that's what I've come here to set myself up to do, but still. Typing Griffin, draw a rush minion from your deck. I kind of always against 1 mana minions. Like, 1 health minions, like, that second health makes such a difference. This, I think, is awesome. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's even going to allow for some cool combos. Play these all on the same turn. Against a single 2 mana minion? No. I don't have much of a plan for it, but it could be something cool. Deal 3 damage if you're holding a dragon, also hits the enemy hero. Great, that's pretty doable. I like this guy. Oh, he's just a kind of little fat boy. He's poisonous, 2/3, and he discovers a dragon. He's great. It's really solid. I guess when doing reviews like this, it's much easier to tell when a card is solid than when a card is like going to be runaway crazy. If you're holding a dragon, discover an upgraded mage spell. I had a look at these. They're probably pretty good, although there's a lot of them, so that you don't really know exactly what you're going to get. After you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 elemental. This will be strong if you can play 3 spells on turn 4, or even on turn 3. But even so, it's not... I mean, it's pretty good stats for 3 mana. Yeah, I guess you may as well put this down and then threaten it. And it effectively, because effects like this, effects which do something after the card's been put down, they kind of effectively have taunt. Because your opponent will just want to deal with it. Do late damage. Any excess damage continues to the left or the right. It's kind of a clamping walls or whatever it's called, but weirder. It's nice to roll that damage over onto the next thing. It's going to be quite possible to choose exactly what you hit, because if your opponent has 2 minions, obviously it hits both of them. If your opponent has 3 minions, you can always hit the 2 that you want to hit, as long as you plan on killing 2. Because, that's... Even, like, if your main priority is killing this one, great. If your main priority is killing this one, as long as you kill this one and then have, like, enough damage coming over, you'll still get both of them. So it's not as random as it seems. That's quite dependent on what's on the board. If the opponent has more than 4 minions, cards like this are tricky because they add an extra element to the game that I don't know if it's really a tactical element. Because board positioning is important with cards like this, but board positioning isn't important most of the time, and it kind of allows for unforced errors, which aren't so interesting from a tactical standpoint and from a watching or playing the game standpoint. It's like if there was one small bit of a tennis court that you weren't allowed to step on, and if you did step on it, you lost the point. And you have to make the decision, and I feel like you have to be aware of it the whole time. Or you can just run the risk that 1 out of 100 points you lose for no reason. Yeah, not a big fan of positioning based cards, but I don't think they're going anywhere, and it seems a fine one. I like its effect. And a giant plus 1 less for each card. That would be good. You know, getting a giant down, it's basically always good. I don't know how a rogue gets cards that didn't start in their deck. I guess for that. Dragoncaster. You got to play a pretty big spell and have a dragon. This is, again, it might have a crazy combo, but it's not. It's not clearly good. You wouldn't pick it up in Arena. Unless you'd already picked up. I don't know. I don't even know if this would be worth it with something like Luna's Pocket Galaxy, because if Luna's Pocket Galaxy was 7 mana, reduce the cost of all your minions to 1, and summon a 4/4 minion, it wouldn't be that different. It'd be better, obviously, but it wouldn't be that different. It's taking up another card. I don't like it. I don't like it. But again, it's got all that combo possibility. It could go crazy. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, discover a spell. Yeah, it's cheap, so you'll have been playing it early in the game. You probably will have a dragon in your hand. Get to discover a spell. Great. Very reactive. You can do a bunch with it. And also just solid, it just does damage. You don't even have to kill the minion or anything like that. Play an elemental 2 turns in a row, draw speed up to 3 spells from your deck. This is absolutely insane. Because playing an elemental 2 turns in a row isn't easy, and the elementals aren't always that great. Well, Mage probably has the best. But drawing 3 spells from your deck is crazy good, especially if you're going for a combo that doesn't have many spells. Like, you could imagine a deck which has 3 spells, and this gets them. That said, all of these side quests, if you get them late in the game, they're not going to do that much if you have a really specific plan. But even if you don't have a really specific plan, this is quite doable. Like, you can just save up your elementals. Spend 8 mana on spells, summon a 6/6 dragon. So cards like this, something I like to do is kind of map them onto what would be an equivalent card, and often that helps you see their value. So what if there was a card which was 1 mana, in 4 turns, summon a 6/6 dragon? I don't think you'd play it, and I don't think you'll play this. So scared. Spell damage +2, battle cry, discover a dragon. Yeah, that seems pretty good. You only need to have 1 damage dealing spell in your hand. Hey Lewis, how you doing? Doing a card review of the remaining cards released in the new Hearthstone patch, which I think I'm like a fortnight behind the curve on, but I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Violent Spellring. It is an elemental, it's 1 mana, it adds an arcane missiles. It's fine. I'm not that excited about it. Let's see some crazy Paladin cards. I feel like Paladin is one of the classes which is most often... Thanks, man. Which is most often got crazy things that don't really work. I had already seen this, but great. I think this is actually pretty good. The disadvantage, as with a lot of these, is that you're playing it and it's your opponent who has 10 mana crystals first. Like, they're the first ones to get to use it, but you know, they just don't know. The only thing that they're going to be able, like, if this is one of those interesting cards which will be good if it isn't very high up in the meta. which it probably won't be because if it's good, people will play it. There's a lot of decks in Hearthstone that would be good if only people didn't play them. If you're queuing into a Paladin and all Paladins are playing this, you mulligan for your most expensive cards and you kind of plan around like this is going to come down and you're going to punish your opponent for it. If 1 in 10 Paladins has this, then it's going to be a lot of fun to be that 10th Paladin. Give a dragon in your hand, +3/+3, and this death rattle. Oh, this is... Sometimes Paladin is such a techie class, which, again, it's really good, but I really like. Like, this is cool. Can keep chaining that death rattle on and on. Side quest, take no damage for a turn. Summon a 3/6 minion with taunt. I'm guessing that means for an enemy's turn? Or for both of your turns, but... Yeah, that seems pretty good. 2 mana, 3/6 minion with taunt. I know I've just done a thing about like 1 mana 6/6 isn't good. So why do I think this is good? It doesn't do much if you're in a taking damage state. Like if taking damage is what's happening anyway, this will just keep happening to you. Oh, I see. Sometimes I forget that you can't see the cursor. I'm looking at Sanctuary. So why does my gut instinct say that this might work better than that? I mean, one thing about taking no damage is sometimes free. It's not like you have to spend mana on spells, and it will probably happen eventually. And when it does happen, I don't think you're ever going to be unhappy to see this thing turn up. So yeah, I like this, but I can't really justify it. Light Forged Crusader. Your deck has no neutral cards, add 5 random Paladin cards to your hand. Five cards is quite a lot of cards. No neutral cards is a bit of a problem. I think people will make some fun decks with this. I think, you know, if you want to play this, go for it, and could have a lot of fun with it. Now it's getting more worth it. Yeah, I think the no neutral cards deck is okay. Psycho summon 5 minions, give your minions +1/+1. This feels worse than the one where all your minions, than the secret where all your minions get +1/+1. If you manage, also it happens when you summon your 5th minion. So you've got a little bit more control of it than the secret, but in a way you also have a bit less control. I think if you play like what summons multiple minions, if you play like the Murloc that summons a 1/1 minion, I think both of them will get it even if the Murloc's your 5th. But still, yeah. Your other mechs have +1 attack. Summon 2 1/1 microcopters. So they come out as 2/1 microcopters because of this. But then this is probably going to get killed the next turn. I'm not in. You'd have to have a taunt up. I guess if you put Sanctuary up, knowing that you won't easily take damage. I mean, this is actually quite a good play. If you play Sanctuary. Stun the eraser. Play Sanctuary. And then there's 2 ways. You can go, your opponent does something to make you take damage. But then that means they kind of do nothing to develop the board. Probably. It's not always true. And so then you can play Skyclaw. And you'll probably get to use the +1 attack and the microcopters. Or they do no damage, which is the worst of the 2 options. And that's also, it's surprisingly strong just to know what your opponent's best move is. So either they do no damage, and you can see where this is going. I don't really need to write this out. But basically both of these, Sandclaw ends up being good to play. The trick is if they manage to do the third option, which is no damage, and so if they manage to do damage and do something on the board. But yeah, I like this. It's pretty cool. It suffers from exactly stuff like this coming down. It'd be perfect against this, but we'll see. Give a minion +1/+2. Give a divine shield if you're holding a dragon. Could be interesting. Could play it on something like this. I don't know if there's that many cards. Is Warlock good? I'm looking forward to it. I like it fine. I can't see any reason why it'd be crazy, but there might be some. Restore 8 health, 4/6. Solid. Gonna be pretty good card. Have you lost 8 health by turn 5? Rarely. But you can even play this. You can play this at any point, and it's going to be perfectly good. And maybe you can plan around losing 8 health by turn 5. Lifesteal, discover a dragon. I like the art. Sometimes Hearthstone is so inconsistent on its art. Like these two next to each other. Are they really the same art style? Okay, Priest. I'm not really going to talk about the Galacrons that much. I talked about them before. That's ludicrous. I love it. What's going to happen a lot of the time is you're just sitting around waiting for your opponent to play anything like that worthwhile. But basically, if your opponent plays minions, this is good. And at some point they're going to play minions. So at some point you can play this. Also, plenty of spells that they can play. There's loads of things they can play where this just completely disrupts them. And unlike... So actually, cards like this and this do something incredible even if you don't have them in your deck. They allow a situation that your opponent wants to defend against that could just ruin them. And so they have to kind of at least put part of their energy into playing around these. That obviously won't happen if no one ever plays this, but you know, if you're playing on ladder a priest or a paladin deck, every 5th game queue up with one of these now. Just keep showing the world that they can't completely forget about these cards. And then the rest of the time, maybe they'll be good anyway. I think this probably will be good anyway, but the rest of the time you can kind of leave them out. Battle cry, choose an enemy minion, death battle, summon a new copy of it. Yeah, it's pretty strong. Because, again, you can hold this until there's something worth summoning. You can summon just for stats. And you might summon something crazy with it. You might summon... I don't know. You might summon that. It's not that crazy, but we can all imagine something crazy. If you've invoked twice, reduce the cost of your hand, card in your hand by 1. I'd say if forgotten what invoke means, but it means Galacrons is upgraded basically. I don't think it does anything else. Let's look at the page to make sure. I think I also looked at this last time. Mechanics, battle cry, change costs. God, this is 4 mana. I'd play a 4 mana 3/6. Yeah, it's a good card. Especially if you're playing this. Like, it probably isn't worth playing if you're not playing Invoking. But if you are, this is combo crazy, it's value crazy, just the card on its own is good. Also, I just like this stat line. Like, you're going to deal with a lot of small stuff and survive. You're going to survive to a lot of big stuff, and yeah, it's pretty good. Envoy of Lazul is a card that already existed, but now it's here again. Oh, guess which one is in your opponent's hand, not which is in your opponent's deck. So it's a step less certain. I quite like this, because when you play this, you're really hoping that you see two cards that are useless, and then one card where you're like, oh, that's the card my opponent will have. You also have you get some knowledge from it. This one, I think you're quite a lot more likely not to win than before. I'll be interested to see how often people do win with this, like how predictable it is what's in your opponent's hand, especially if your opponent has things like from another class. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Destroy a minion, invoke Gallic. You're achieving some stuff. 5 mana, destroy a minion. It's not really that much more than 3 mana, which is what you play for Power Word, Death. You play it 2 turns later, at least, but you're probably not going to be wanting to destroy anything with 5 attack or more that early. Yeah, I think that's good. I think this is sort of better to put in your deck than Power Word. Thingmo. Give up. That's pretty cool. So this whole expansion being based around dragons are generally like big heavy things that you keep in your hand till late. It might really slow the game down, or it might be that going fast, as always, especially like as some part of the population goes slow, the other part could just be like, oh, just go fast and not even let them get to use their big things. But somehow this works well because if your opponent's going fast, it's pretty good. Like if your opponent goes wide, it's pretty good. If you're not playing anything, you don't even need the dragon. If you are playing something, that works too. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Yep, that'll be really annoying to play against. 3 isn't 4, to say something incredibly obvious. I feel like 4 is a more influential amount of damage to be doing, but everything has to have a stat line. God, that's boring. These are the only things that can invoke in Priest, just these 2 cards. Give a minion Death Rattle Summon 2 copies of this. You're going to have to play that on something pretty special for it to be worthwhile. I don't know if you can play that on Kaj and get copies. All these things when I'm saying I don't know. Oh yeah, play it on your opponent's minion. Okay, people think it's good, so I think it's good. And add a lackey to your hand with 0 mana. Well, gotta have another card. Rogue. So again, I looked at Gallic. I can't remember what I thought about it, but I thought it at the time. I just love the art on this. I'm so on board with that. Filk Skyshiv. Destroy a minion and all copies of it. God, that does some interesting things to combos. Will it be worth playing? Probably not. You might see it in like tournament play, particularly where people know the deck lists. And this is only really worth it if there are some non-legendary crazy cards, or even some whole combos, some whole tactics based around summoning many copies of the same minion. Unless, is there anything? Because I think when you destroy something, even if it's in a deck, its Death Rattle happens. Is there any time where you play this on your own minion and get the Death Rattle and the Death Rattle from one in your deck? That would be cool. I don't know if you do it. But if you invoke twice, add 3 coins to your hand. By turn 4 you haven't invoked that many times. Yeah. Draw a Death Rattle minion from your deck and gain its Death Rattle. 4 mana 2/5 isn't great, but a 4 mana combo, you're just quite heavy. Like, waiting for the opportunity to play that. Oh, I'm getting that fear of like just being wrong about my rating of all these cards. But right now it doesn't look like Rogue is coming out that strong. Although, again, I've forgotten how strong Galakant is. 3 damage from undamaged character, invoke. It's so weird to me, like this is backstab with 1 more damage and it costs 3 mana. And I just don't know if invoking can be that worthwhile. Dragon's Horde, discover a legendary minion from another class. That feels like filler. There's so many legendary minions, you can't really pick anything. And discover's good, like it's going to be fine. But no one's going to be that excited to be putting this card in their deck. Apart from the fact that it's probably going to be fun to play. Do you remember when it was important that games would be fun to play? I think it still is, really. There are cards that didn't start in your deck. In your deck that didn't start. There's this weird grammar. It feels unlike Hearthstone general grammar, but draw 2 of them. I mean, this is cool. You can pull out. You can get Wax of Dread back. But why would they be in your... It's cards that didn't start in your deck that are now in your deck. Not like... Don't you always get cards that didn't start in your deck into your hand? Draw 3 cards, possibly for 3 mana. Yeah, seems great. Also, I kind of expect Galakon to be played in most decks. Like, they like for the thing that the expansion is about to be played. So yeah, that seems strong. Drawing 3 cards, pretty insane. For 3 mana. Praise Galakon. Give a minion +1 attack. Invoke Galakon. Fine. Add 2 1/1 pirates to your hand. I haven't seen a single other pirate in this deck list. I don't really understand the point of this, but you can just keep on playing cards. I forgot, yeah, Adalaki, that seems great. God, even 2 cards, this feels worth playing. Yep, I like Rogue Galakons. Shaman, not sure. I'm enjoying the art on the Bandersmoosh. Let's start with the Nidhogg. Summon 2 0/3 eggs. Next turn they turn into 4/4 drakes with rush. Yep, that seems pretty good. Seems relatively base good. And yeah, it only does something next turn. I guess if they're not Battle Cry, so they're not Death Rattle, turn into the 4/4 drakes. So your opponent could just wipe them out. So playing this on, if your opponent has much board, they'll just take them down. But then, even so, they're leaving up a 5/5. Yeah, actually I'm less convinced by this. Feels like there's a lot of ways in which this can just not work that well. Bandersmoosh! Oh, I love this guy. I've never seen this before, but he's great. He's kind of a little Batman. He's got the cape. Transform into a 5/5 copy of a random legendary minion. Okay, so actually, again, it's the kind of thing that it could go insane at any point. At any point it could be weird and fascinating, but sometimes you just keep on seeing 5/5 Nat Pagels. And maybe you want a 5/5 Nat Pagel. you do you. That's such a shame to make that great a piece of card art and it will disappear. You only see it most one turn per game. Unless you play this. But don't play this. Like as in don't play this as a Bandersmarsh. And I'm not sure, for most legendary minions, 5/5 is probably lower stats than they normally have. And for most legendary minions, a 5/5 copy of them for 5. Yeah, I'm really not that convinced by this. And you can't choose what you're getting. You can't choose when you get it. You can't really plan around it. Cumulo Maximus. If you have overloaded mana crystals, deal 5 damage. I think this could be strong just because if you're playing a shaman and you're controlling the board, you're probably overloading your mana crystals. And then you play this, you continue controlling the board, continue overloading your mana crystals. And 5 damage is a lot. And they can be overloaded this turn or the last turn. Like you can play something. You can do a lot of damage in one turn with this and a cheap overload spell. Dragon's Pack. 2/3 Spirit Wolves. If you've invoked twice, give them 3/3. How much does Spirit Wolves normally cost? 3 mana? 2 extra mana. You can play it when you need to, but it could come out really strong. I think that's pretty strong. Compare this to, for example, to this is a fair comparison to Oasis Surger, which was just a really solid card because you came down if you played the Druid Quest and got that all your choose ones or choose both. It came down and you had 2 5/5s with Rush, and the Rush means that you can do something immediately, but these are going to be 5/6s with Taunt, and that at least locks your opponent out. You probably can't get it down so early. Oh no, you can. You can just keep one of these. Yeah. Weird. Or this. That's fine. Let's have a look at the storms. Because actually, I don't know if they had all 4 Galacons the last time. I don't know if I've seen this before. 2/1 elemental with Rush. It's only okay. Show me the storm. Does the hero power doesn't upgrade, does it? No, that's not what I wanted. Is there a page for this? No. Some 2/2 storms with Rush. I mean, this is better than the normal Shaman hero power. It feels fine, and also I didn't realise that you could invoke twice, and then invoke twice, and it'd still be useful. So yeah, even this feels pretty good to me. Like, you know, you can either do your invoking if you have time at the beginning, or you can save it to the end and like play this and then immediately this. And 10 mana for 2 5/6s is not unreasonable. In 2 cards is a bit low, but okay. Warlock, finally Warlock, which I've been kind of hoping that each one turns into Warlock as we go down. He just summons more and more random demons, doesn't he? Yeah, this just seems like the weakest. But as I think I said last time, 4 random demons have a good chance of buffing each other and being more than 2 separate sets of 2 random demons. What? Oh. There's a way in which by the end, when it happens, Blizzard will have completely broken their own game. increasing your hand size to 12 isn't that crazy. You know, it's 20% more, but I don't know, man. This just seems it's just a cool, exciting card, and I'm glad they had stuff like this. I'm glad that they're kind of willing to break their game a bit. Whenever your hero takes damage, summon a 6/6 Nether Drake. Seems pretty good. Pretty good. Chances are it's sticking around for a while. It's got a lot of health. And chances are your hero's going to take some damage in that time. Like, I'd be surprised. Even if you, like... So one option is to play this on turn 10, draw a card, and get a 6/6 Drake. But even if you have to wait till the next turn, it's probably still going to be there. So yeah, I'm in. If you provoke twice, draw 3 cards. Still strong. Stats are fine. If you have to, you can play it when you need to. Especially cards which you play if you have to. It's kind of better when they have more attack, because you might be trying to wipe out something that otherwise would scare you. Dark Skies. Deal 1 damage to a random minion. Repeat for each card in your hand. Which will be 12, maybe. How many cards would you have to have for this to feel worth it? Like, is there an equivalent of deal damage randomly? Because this is to all minions, this isn't just to the enemy minions. It's Earthquake? No. Volcano? I feel like you have to have at least 8 cards in your hand, basically, for this to be particularly exciting to be playing. Dragonblight Cultist. Invoke Galacond, gain +1 attack for each other friendly minion. I'm seeing a lot of what's being encouraged going in different directions here, like... Oh, this went off. Now it will be the wrong way around, I predict. Or it just won't work. Yeah, fine. By the way, Lewis, let me know if I've missed something that's like secretly crazy about any of these cards. If you're holding a dragon, deal 4 damage. Oh, I didn't read the first bit. Deal 4 damage with lifesteal instead. Again, I think you'll be holding a dragon. So 4 damage with lifesteal for 2 mana. It's pretty good. 2 damage without lifesteal for 2 mana. It's still doing something. I think that's pretty good. There's a way in which I go through this and most of the cards I'm like, it's pretty good, it's pretty good. It's just a good card, it's better than the cards from before. I think some people, this is a weird point to stop and talk about creep, but let's talk about creep for a sec. Some people look at creep as a failure of design of a game like this. And maybe I agree that it would be interesting to see a game which doesn't have creep, because creep does multiple things, including it devalues everyone's cards. You kind of need the new hotness all the time. But at the same time, it's hard to invent and keep creating new interesting effects without creep, because there's a finite amount of possibility in a game like Hearthstone, and we probably, if we really look back, we probably have seen this. Hearthstone's changed a bit as a game over time. Like, this might be the start of it becoming a much slower game. There may be points where it becomes more strategic and it's more about like having things that build. Like, you could imagine an expansion where there's a bunch of cheap minions with almost no attack and a lot of health, which do a thing every turn, and a meta that becomes around keeping one big minion around for a long time. It's hard to do with the cards that exist, but give it 4 attack. Yeah. Maybe make it untargetable? I don't know. The holding dragon, deal 3 damage to all other characters. It itself is a dragon, so it helps with other things. Seems legit. Invoke Galacon, give your minions +1 attack. Oh, this was the one last time that I was like, how can this be 3 mana? Giving my minions +1 attack for 3 mana feels like just not that worth it. Compared to, for example, Call of the Wild? No. The Druid card, which is Twin Spill, give your minions +1/+1. And is in like 8 ways superior to this. The only way, obviously, it isn't is in Invoking Galacon, which maybe is great. Summon a demon with taunt and stats equal to your hand size. Love it. Summon a 12/12 demon. No, actually, at most an 11/11 demon, because you're playing this. And deal 1 damage to all characters for 1 mana. God, it really feels like for some of these I just needed another card. Fine. Summon 2 1/1 imps is pretty good. Especially because you may well have anything that's buffing demons, so having imps is going to be great. And then what cards we have? Yeah. Just got warrior neutral. Because it's been a long video. Have I seen this before? Draw 1 million, give it +4/+4. I've always loved the idea of hand buff, but it's never seemed that great. Draw 4 minions, give them +4/+4. Yeah, no, actually, I'm in. God, this comes down and you're just looking at a lot of power from your opponent. I'm a little bit worried that invoking is going to be too slow. Maybe I shouldn't be. I sort of trust Blizzard to have balanced it such that it is worth doing because, again, they want you to do the things that they've designed. Deathwing Mad Aspect, Battlecry attack all other minions. Love it. Yeah, I think that's really good. It at least trades really well with at least its own stat line. It trades with its own stat line and summons on average a 12/4. Like if it survives, it's hitting for a lot of damage. If you've got it in your deck, you're not playing too much because you're kind of expecting to put it down. You probably, one thing about cards like this that can be easy to look over, or to use a phrase I've just made up, to overlook, is that you will probably act in a way that tells your opponent that you have it, which tends to make it less powerful, but then what's your opponent going to do? Not play minions? I like this. After your hero attack, draw a pirate from your deck. Why would you have pirates in your deck? You could have that pirate in your deck. Do you want that pirate in your deck? Don't particularly want to draw it. This seems bad. Rush, Battlecry, if you've invoked twice, summon 2 copies of this. Yeah, again, I'm in. It's kind of good if you play it with an invocation, it's kind of good if you play it without. I'm just worried it's going to be a bit boring invoking all the time. Maybe not, maybe it'll feel very tense, but when you're just like, oh, I gotta churn the 9 to 5 and invoke 4 times. Force a minion to attack one of its neighbours. Given that Super Collider was actually surprisingly quite strong, this might be pretty good. I don't know if it's worth keeping a card out of your world. As in, I don't know if it's worth the card that you would otherwise put in that place. Do 5 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, gain 5 armor. What a boring card. Maybe good, but after you summon a pirate, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. It's got a lot of health. And a bit of attack. Doing 2 damage to a random enemy. I think it's possible, and this would make sense of this finally, I think it's possible to keep this around for way longer than you expect and just keep chaining it, because both that you're summoning minions, that you're maybe playing this, all of these are denying your opponent's chances to get rid of this thing. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel a bit sad when I get a one attack weapon. I'm just kind of like, oh, do I use this now? The number of times that I end up like overwriting a one attack weapon because it just doesn't do very much is some, and it's not a thing I enjoy. I don't want to do things I don't enjoy, even sometimes. I want to do them never. Evil Quartermaster, add a lackey to your hand, gain 3 armor. It's pretty solid. Invoke Galakrond, do 1 damage to all minions. Really? Oh look, he's such a wide boy. Oh, I love him. Oh, I really like this one. He's kind of a frog guy. Is he always that wide? I just hadn't really noticed. Maybe. He's a strange shape. He's got teeny little arms. Right, let's see the neutral cards. Oh, I think I've seen this before. At some point maybe I'll do another, probably before they release, another card review where I go through and I look for some crazy tactics that can be done, because this feels like it has some crazy tactics that can be done. At the end of your board, fill your board. At the end of your turn, fill your board with 1/1 tentacles. So this will happen. Like it's the end of your turn, so it will happen. You'll play this, that will happen. And then the thing is that you can do it again the next turn if this survives. But do I want 7 1/1 tentacles? And more importantly, are there enough to defend this thing? I guess it's 7 attacks, so your opponent's going to put quite a bit of their work into destroying this. It's only got 7 health. It's only got 1 attack, so they're not going to have lost that much. But you'll be stalling them out for a turn. I can see this being good if actually you're. It's another one of those things that you don't necessarily think of, but just stalling your opponent, if your plan works around stalling your opponent, can be great. What's a devastation? I'm probably on board for a devastation. I lost the window I was looking at. And we're back. A devastation. Yeah, this seems like a thing I think we're going to see a lot of. There's a lot of things which incentivize you having a dragon in your hand. This gets a dragon into your hand. The only thing that it doesn't do anything in the medium time where you have Galakrond in your hand and are but haven't yet played it. I was just wondering, is there a way to get 2 Galakronds? There probably is some way. In which case, there might be some cool stuff you can do with this. Summon an 8/8 dragon with taunt. Seems fine if your minions. Do you get to choose one? No, it looks like it's unleashed straight away. Oh no, you get to choose from these 4, and it's unleashed straight away. Not that strong, but it's a fine stat line. I expect that to see play. If your deck has no duplicates, add 2 random dragons to your hand. They cost 0. In a way, I feel like maybe I should be trying less to guess at like, oh, this thing will be used or that thing will be used. That I don't really know, but looking for cool ways in which like things can be more or less powerful than maybe people tend to think they are, that's kind of cool. If your hand has no duplicates, add 2 random dragons to your hand. They cost 0. There's a few low-cost dragons. Hand has no duplicates. That's going to happen quite a lot. You have a lot more control of that than deck has no duplicates. cards like this sort of have to not be that strong, because if they were particularly strong, the RNG would be just boring from it. I don't think this is that strong, given some of the other things that you can be doing at turn 9 at this point. Like, don't forget that this one summons a copy of whatever you do it on. I'd rather be playing this than this almost all the time. Reduce the cost of dragons in your deck by 2. It's pretty cool. No, Galacond isn't a dragon. Which is kind of... I've just always been amazed by the fact that, what's it called? One of the demons that you can turn a warlock into, or at least that you could early on, is a demon, and so there's a card which destroys the demon and it can destroy their hero. The ability for heroes to be a type has always seemed like a weird box of Pandora's box that the developers have opened. Secretly discover a dragon to hatch into Death Rattle Hatch. It's a lot of mana you're paying for this. It's a good chance that you don't discover any dragons that... my computer's completely frozen. Good chance you don't discover any dragons that you particularly want, but I love the subterfuge. You can really mess your opponent around with something like this, so this is going to be fun. After you draw a card, transform it into a random legendary minion. Random legendary minions are normally worse than the cards you're drawing, and that seems terrible. This is a great way to ruin someone. There will be some high-level competitive Hearthstone, even if no one puts this in a deck, where this turns up and it takes the card which would have made them win and turns it into something useless and they lose. Steal your opponent's weapon. Quite fun. I'm in. Plus free attack for each other Dread Raven you control. Terrible. Like, I may as well be playing 2 Murloc commanders. I don't think you're going to have very many of them. Even if you do, they don't have that much health. If it was like +2/+2 for each other Dread Raven you control, I'd be more interested, but this, no. Yeah, my computer has completely frozen, so we'll get to the end of this line, and then the guy at the bottom, I'm going to guess what his thing's going to be. And then we'll stop there. Let's make his card as well. So Tentacled Menace. Each player draws a card, swap their costs. Come on. This isn't going to be a good drawing. No, there we go. It's finally gone. I can still see it on here for a sec. I can still talk about it. No, this is I'm in tiny vision. No, I've only got moments before the streaming computer realises that the other computer's gone. I must finish this page. I must draw this man. Transform all neutral cards in your deck into random cards from your class. Bad. Your opponent's next hero power costs 3 mana. Actually fine, but you're never going to play it in your deck. Less hero powering in Hunter becomes a particularly worthwhile tactic. Scofin, if you're holding a dragon, summon 2 random Murlocs. Honestly, you're rarely going to get something particularly good. I'm pretty underwhelmed by these rare neutral cards. Except for my guy, what's he got? He's kind of got a hood on. So he's kind of like, oh no, don't do it. He's actually looking in the other direction. I'm going to turn him round because those eyes are pretty good if he's looking in this direction. He's got a big white beard, so let's just leave that. He's got a kind of hood on. He's doing a whole like blue thing. have that with a little bit of a he's kind of a purple guy, so let's just make him kind of purpley. Let's just give that a bit of depth. I haven't, by the way, hooked up this tablet because I'm good at. I'm not bad at drawing, but it's not because I'm trying to kind of be the best. I just thought it would be nice to. I've been trying to work out how to have a whiteboard basically, whilst I do these things, and it's hard to have it such that it's very visible. It's a good thing that the image. No, the image is still up, isn't it? You can compare with what I'm making. That's scary. Oh, also it's sideways for you guys. Oh, I could try and promise that it looks a lot better if it's the right way up. Why are you sideways? Come on, iPad. Hey, there we go. Bit over to one side. So what else is going on with him? Otherwise it's just kind of some shading. But we haven't decided what he does yet. So honestly, I can't imagine a more boring looking character. So I'm gonna make him do something good. He's also just kind of in snowy hills. Which is an old Mario Kart stage. It's not, but let's say it is. So let's say for no reason he has some kind of Mario Kart connection. Can't really see it, but the card art isn't perfect. But he's it's actually like from the waist down. He's in a kind of like stereotypical headlights. Stereotypical Mario Kart car. That doesn't look anything like a Mario Kart car. It just looks like he's standing on like some congealed blood. Yeah, he stands on congealed blood. That's what he does. He's not from Mario Kart. That's crazy. Blizzard don't own the rights for that. So he stands on congealed blood. He's called the Blood Lighter. The Blood Lighter. And what he does, you see, is he tries to set fire to blood, but with blue flame. He's called the Blue Blood Lighter, obviously. So if every time someone's damaged, he tries to set fire to it, in like a blue way. What does that mean? Blizzard, feel free to hire me if you want me to make some card art for you. Every time someone's damaged, it's hard to think. Like, you know, you could invent something crazy and stupid. Oh, I'm going to do something recursive. I love something recursive. So every time he's damaged, damage himself. That amount. There's no way I can write this on the card. Every time another minion is damaged, he damages himself that amount, and then it repeats. And so it kind of chains, and he's got a lot of health. What's the absolute highest amount of health this thing could feasibly have for 2 mana? It's got 12 health. It's got no attack. No, he's got 1 attack. Yeah, he's got 1 attack. that's the blood layer, the blood lighter. So what's going to be really amazing here is that, I mean, obviously this isn't going to be the card. I can't even really guess what the card's going to be. 2 mana. Cast a spell. So I hope you enjoyed my rough and not full review of the cards in Descent of Dragons. I know that I left some gaps, including the rest of the list. Yeah, if this is as popular as the first video, can we smash 32 views on this video? Then maybe I'll make another one. No promises though. Alright, I'm gonna end the YouTube video here. Thank you for just thank you for being you. I can't end the YouTube video. I have the right thing not to do that. I'm getting there. I'm learning how to use this tech. Stick around on stream and I'll probably do something else. I can't do that. Okay, so I have to actually end the stream for a sec. So, bye, but I'll be back.